The Today Show with breaking news. Georgia Governor Kemp just started addressing the Athens area Chamber of Commerce.
He is expected to talk about the death of UGA student and her accused killer. Let's listen in now.
For the press outside down the hall, there will be a press conference following his remarks as well. So
he's making his way to the podium right now. Again, Governor.
Well, thank you, Michael, and I appreciate you taking a second tour of duty as chamber president this year, and I certainly want to thank David and the rest of the team for having Marty and I this morning. I'm glad to be a member of the Athens Clark County Chamber of Commerce, and appreciate what you guys are doing every day to plug for small businesses in this community and a lot of other great pieces of the fabric of the Athens, Georgia community. Like Michael said, our hearts are breaking this morning for the family of Laken Riley. I had the honor of speaking to her parents over the weekend, and though they are bearing the pain that no parent should ever endure and of having to plan for burying their child, they're thankful for our prayers and our ongoing justice to see Laken's killer brought to justice. Marty and I will continue to keep their family, their friends, and the university community in our thoughts and prayers. This community, all of Georgia, and the entire country have been rocked by this inexcusable and avoidable murder. Laken's life should not have ended so soon, and we need to demand justice for what happened to her. She deserves justice. Her family deserves justice, and we need justice on a national level to prevent this type of thing from happening again. Laken's death is a direct result of failed policies on the federal level and an unwillingness by this White House to secure the southern border. We need to demand better from this administration, and that's something that I've been doing since I've taken office, along with other governors across the country. And we've renewed that call multiple times, including again this weekend when I sent a letter to the president demanding more information on the illegal immigrants in our country, where they are, and if they've broken any of our laws. Because of the president's failures, we don't know all that we should, but we do know this: more than 8.5 million illegal immigrants have crossed the border since President Biden took office. In November of last year alone, over 1,700 pounds of fentanyl were seized at the southern border, nearly 16,000 pounds of meth. 169 people on the terror watch list were encountered at the southern border in fiscal year 2023, setting an all-time record. Those drugs, weapons, and dangerous criminals that aren't stopped at the border head to other states just like ours. In fact, there was a 55% increase in cases involving fentanyl seizures here in Georgia by the GBI between 2022 and 2023. And that doesn't even include all the seizures by local law enforcement. It is an understatement to say that this is a major crisis. And because of the White House's failures, every state, as I've said repeatedly, is now a border state. And Laken Riley's murder is just the latest proof of that. Just yesterday, Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirmed that her killer was in the country illegally, that he had been arrested in 2022 and was paroled and released back onto our streets. He was then arrested again last year in New York for trying to hurt a child and other charges. That is a failure of our system on multiple levels and at multiple times, and it has resulted in a young woman's death. That is inexcusable. In any absence of any real effort by the Biden administration to step up and address this crisis, as they continue to ignore the calls for meaningful policy change that governors like me have made for well over 2 years. I have committed further resources to helping secure the southern border and keeping our citizens safe. We already have the longest continuous presence of state guardsmen stationed on the border of any state, going back to when I first took office. Earlier this month, following my 5th trip to the southern border, I announced that we would send more troops to Texas to help in building a command center on the border with Mexico. And we're already putting more and more resources into public safety, including to pay for state law enforcement to retain and attract talented men and women who will keep our streets safe. I want to thank the General Assembly. I know a bunch of the local delegation is here this morning for giving final passage to the peace officer loan repayment legislation we introduced last year. All of these measures and more are designed with the same goal: to keep Georgians like you safe, to keep Georgians' neighborhoods safe, to keep our schools safe, and to keep our businesses safe. Because everyone should feel secure in their local community. And as we further strengthen the places we call home, we will continue to build on great opportunities here in our state. And I know that's what you all at the Chamber are doing every single day, and we appreciate so much your partnership with us. Those efforts have brought 177 projects, over 20,300 new jobs, and $13.4 billion in investment to just this region of Georgia since I first took office. Statewide, we've seen close to 2,000 projects, over 174,000 new jobs, and approximately $78.5 billion in investment in that same time frame. And those are just projects where the state had involvement and a direct role, as was the case in the Duncan Housing, which is bringing 100 jobs and $15 million of investment to this community. Meisner, a great private company from California, which is bringing a total of 1,700 jobs and a $250 million investment to the Athens area. And the expansion of Bowring or Ingelheim that's bringing 55 jobs and $57 million of investment. Marty and I had the opportunity to tour the construction that's going on out there. It's going to be an incredible facility for our community with really great paying jobs. We're also very excited, and I want to thank the General Assembly. This is something that we worked with the leadership prior to rolling our budget out before we got into session, but we're investing an additional $1.5 billion in cash for transportation projects across the state to keep Georgians and Georgia-made goods moving efficiently. We'll see that money deployed in every local community across our state. I'm also proud to announce that last year, total trade for the state exceeded $186 billion across 222 countries and territories. We also broke records yet again for exports with a total of $49.7 billion in goods going from our state to places all over the world, which I think is really significant in this crazy economic environment that we're in right now, not only in the United States, but around the world. That's $2.7 billion above the previous record. And by the way, and with Marty and I being small business owners from this area, I'm especially proud to say that 87% of those exporters are small businesses, which says a lot about our state. That level of unprecedented economic success is part of why we've been able to provide nearly $5 billion in direct relief to Georgia taxpayers via 2 tax refunds, multiple gas tax suspensions, a homestead tax exemption, and much more. And I, again, want to thank the local delegation and the members of the General Assembly for supporting this. I think it's one reason that our economy has fought through 40-year high inflation and continue to really be one of the best states in the country when you look at economic numbers, unemployment, and the amount of people working in our state is the most in the history of the state, despite this environment that we're in. We're also working right now, along with the members of the General Assembly, to accelerate the largest income tax cut in state history, which after the end of this session, and when I put a pin to that piece of legislation, will lower our tax rate to 5.39%. This measure alone will save taxpayers nearly $3 billion over the next 10 years. And we're making further investments in our education and workforce development systems with historic investments in the K-12 classroom. This is probably one of the biggest issues that we continue to hear about out there. It's not bad as it was a year ago, and it's certainly not as bad as it was 2 years ago, but people are still looking for qualified workers. And we made a lot of commitments and bring in a lot of jobs, and we got to make sure that these employers have the people that they need to get that done. And I know President Moorhead and President Daniel at Athens Tech and our K-12 folks in the room are working hard every day to produce that workforce. But also, along with the General Assembly, we're making historic investments in K through 12 education. Between the two budgets I proposed this year, we're putting $1.4 additional dollars into K through 12. As you know, my budget also includes funds for a medical school here in Athens.
We've been listening in as the governor addresses the Athens Chamber of Commerce, and he opened, of course, by saying that hearts are breaking over the loss of Laken Riley, the Augusta University nursing student who was killed at UGA. He said he talked to her parents over the weekend and said they're thankful for efforts to bring the killer to justice. He called this crime inexcusable and avoidable.
We know that immigration laws and securing the borders has been a huge point of contention for Republicans and Democrats. Governor Kemp, they're taking the opportunity to fire off at the White House, saying this is all due to the fact of their inaction to secure the border, given the fact that this suspect here, Jose Ibarra, was in the country illegally, as we have learned from ICE. Immigration authorities saying he had a criminal record here in the country as well. So Governor Kemp taking the opportunity to highlight those at this already planned event where the governor was going to speak. If you do want to keep watching more of that, we will have it streaming for you on 11alive.com.
For now, we'll send it back to continuing coverage on the Today Show.
We need to get them into a workforce program where we can get them skilled up so they'll get a better paying job, but also be one of those employees that these companies need. So we're really excited about that. I hope you all will help tell any high school juniors and sophomores and freshmen that you have out there that they can expect this letter to come to their house. Most of these degrees with the Hope Scholarship and Hope Grant are tuition free. Many families don't understand that they have these opportunities to really change the economic trajectory of their children with no tuition and basically free education in our state. So we got to continue to have your help as well to spread the word. So we are certainly doing our part, but none of these measures matter if we cannot keep our people safe. And Georgia will continue to do its part, and it's past time for the federal government to do it as well. So I'm urging all of you to stand with me to demand justice for Laken and holding the federal government accountable and continuing to keep our communities safe. And we will also continue to keep the Riley and Phillips family in our thoughts and prayers. May God bless them and keep them, and may He continue to watch over our state and our nation. Thank you all for having me this morning.